Welcome to the Truth Wins podcast. This is episode 95 called One Miraculous Country. We're going to kind of leave them hanging there for a little bit. We're not going to tell them which country is the miracle country we're talking about till a little bit later. But in the meantime, I'd like to welcome my friend, Stu. Say hey, Stu.
Hey, Stu.
Good to have you back.
Good to see
you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for believing in me enough to come back and join me and join us on the Truth Wins podcast.
Yeah, that's good to be here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, good. Even if you don't mean it, I appreciate it. My name's Todd. I'm your host, as always. And yeah, we're going to be talking about one miraculous country in a little bit. But before we do that, I would like for us to take time to do what we call Time to Stump Stu. All right, Stu. This one is from quite a while back, but I just thought it might be good to throw this one out there. It's an episode we did with your friend. No, Ian is your friend, right, Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ian knew Jesse. She came. We had a great one on her ministry. Her organization helps victims of sexual exploitation. So what is it called? Refine.org. So go back and listen to that one. I think it was this spring we had her on, or early summer. Great interview, great time with her. But Rick thought he'd chime in on that whole thing. And he says, talking about sexual exploitation, does this include sexual exploitation at the hands of clergy?
Okay.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
That was his pun,
wow.
not mine. So, and I don't think he meant to do that.
But anyhow, I think Rick brings up a valid point that sexual exploitation can happen everywhere, even so-called, people who are people of the cloth or whatever. They can do it too. And that's one of the things that you recognize about Christianity is that it says, yes, you guys are not perfect either. Followers of Jesus are not perfect, and we do wrong things, but they aren't following what Jesus taught when they do that. And so, yes, that can be something that needs to be dealt with. Yep. That's true.
That's the key. We got to deal with it. Right. And when it's been brushed under the rug,
right,
then that's not a good thing, and none of us support that. But that's the great thing about truth, is it's a respecter of no individuals. And so if somebody does something wrong, we need to be the first to say this is wrong, and there are consequences to that, and especially hurting a child. So
right.
I would agree with you, Rick, that it does include, or it should include, anyone, especially somebody who is in a position of authority. Like a clergyman, a teacher, things like that. That's I think that should be the stiffest penalties. So I think in our culture, if we had stiff penalties for pedophilia, it would go drastically down. I think that should be a death penalty, because you mess up that kid and maybe that kid's kids if they have kids. And so it's a big deal.
But if Rick is coming from outside a Christian perspective, which he might be, then that's a difficult issue to say that anything is wrong. If you're in that perspective, if you're a pure materialist, then nothing's wrong. Mm-hmm. You get to do whatever you want. So
true.
Something to think about.
Yeah. We wouldn't even call it wrong if there was no moral code that we're following. Right.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you. Time to stump Stu.